NC noise criteria rating. Trying to get some experience using it, so it's part of the sound specification thing that I've not had much experience time using. So I'm just trying to get an understanding of like how to use it. So I'm just trial and error guessing with using the various tools. I've connected this meter up to the lead output to the computer, but oddly I was seeing a very odd peak around 70 Hz, and I think that must have been something to do with that. I wasn't getting that much with the with this one. I was getting different frequency curves, mind you, as it was just idling sort of thing in the room, turning off all the other amplifiers and everything else off in the background, even closing the door. The equipment is probably a little bit in the background with the door slightly open. It's probably very low level, at a very narrow frequency range. I also like connecting the microphone up, so it's going through the audio mixer, and then onto, I think it's onto the graphic EQ, where I've looked at the sound in the room and thinking it must be kind of neutral, flat sort of thing, and just adjusting the frequency bands until I had something that looked flat. I don't know if that's how it's done, but it's trial and error. And then, of course, switching the air conditioning on and then seeing what the frequency curve looks like with the microphone being there at that position. The vents on the air conditioner are kind of that angle, so the airflow is going upward. It is pretty warm, especially with all this equipment. Whew. It's either that or climbing the walls, but either still, hearing the frequency, which is the curve, so I can turn it on and then stop modulating. So I can talk now. That's the frequency curve it's giving. So it's very bit high frequency, bit mid bass round down here, and then that gives that kilohertz range. Starts, is what the frequency is, what I'm being captured, and so forth. I suppose, yeah, if I record it and then get a decent recording and then play it back, and then using say like playing it back over the speaker, does it sound the same? I could play it over I could play it over the whole lot, just by sending the same signal out into all 5 channels, and but it's there. But then my point was there, I'd probably use the crossover curve, even though that it's going through the THX. I could still put a filter on here and so forth. That's all I use it now for, as well as just monitoring and EQ, and then sort of thing. But as for the crossover, it's what it was used for. Changed it out. So if I would wear earplugs, I wouldn't hear much of the sound what's being picked up on the microphone. So I suppose I've got to move away out off axis, because if I go on axis, you'll get the windy, blowy sound sort of thing, like that sort of thing. So if I look at it off axis, measure it, move around sort of thing. And the airflow angle's going at about that angle. Yeah, it's not there. It's about there. Yeah, they're pretty good, these little vent things. Yeah, it's about there. So over here it's less. Slight on off axes. Woo. Anyway, and of course moving around. Of course, I hear that Doppler sound it's sort of making. That sort of room mode, sort of woo, whoosh, moving around, wee, quick. Yeah, it's a little bit different frequency back here, sort of thing. So if I were to put the microphone there and take a measurement, and then put the other, I could have microphones in, so I don't have to keep moving microphones all around the room. Just have them all set up and then measure it, and then just sort of like fit the film soundtrack level in somewhere, for each movie or so. Even though hearing that, like, you're hearing it continuous in any sort of environment, and it's only around, well, according to one SBL meter, it says about 60 dB. So off axis, it's just over 60. Bears in the house. So we go way over the other side of the room. It's still just a fraction under 60, depending on the frequency it's playing. I mean the frequency of the act, because it's continuous. And you get that sort of thing, same thing with the frequency. It changes. Yeah, just like a sine wave turn playing. It's either the air conditioner on or climbing the walls. I prefer to have it on rather than climbing the walls. I was thinking of maybe having a vent, so the air conditioner could be placed elsewhere, and then have vents in the ceiling, so you get a cool air. Because if you had a piece of ice in your hand, or even ice cream, just take it out of the fridge, ice cream tub, you got ice cream, yeah. Everyone likes ice cream at this time of the year. And if you were to hold it above your head, so in this case I'll use a Mars bar. Come on, Cohagen, you got what you want. Give these people Mars bar ice cream. So even if I was to hold it just a little bit, I can just feel the flow of cool air. As cold air comes downward, warm air rises, where the sun heats the solar crust, warms up, and then you get this warm air that's just rising upward. That's so uniform, just as if it would be winter time, and it's so uniform. And worse, when this on this planet where conditions are, could be a lot, if a little bit too near. Well, if you're on Venus, well, hotter than an oven. Or on Mars, where it could be pretty cold at times. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's minus 450 Fahrenheit in space. Yeah, everywhere. Yeah. Low Earth orbit can go anything from hot temperatures to very cold when you go from in direct sunlight view, and then you go into shadow, and then the temperatures just plummet. Yeah. Well, I think I'll just go with what I'm going with, and I mean, the air conditioner is pretty kind of noisy in a range around about, where is this? Oh gosh, yeah. It's a little bit loudish, yeah, but yeah, it is what it is.